The rain poured down heavily that night. The wind rustled the leaves like a faint whisper, carrying the scent of wet earth that stung the nostrils. Amidst the darkness, a girl named Sinta held a worn-out umbrella, pushing through the heavy rain toward an old building, an old dormitory that had been closed for 3 years. Sinta was a new student who had inadvertently been assigned a room in that dorm. The main dorm was full, they said, and only the old building at the edge of the campus was left. She had tried to refuse, but the dorm guard simply said, "If you dare to stay there, then go ahead. But do not open room number 09. Those words stuck in her mind. But having no other choice, Sinta finally occupied room 07. The first night felt ordinary, silent, cold, and damp. But starting on the second night, strange things began to happen. At 2 in the morning, Sinta woke up to a soft knocking sound on her bedroom wall. Tap, tap, tap. She opened her eyes. Silence. The knocking stopped, but a few seconds later, it sounded again, louder. Tap, tap, tap. With a pounding heart, she tried to peek out of the room, but the hallway was dark without any light. When she closed the door again, the knocking was heard once more, from inside the wardrobe. With trembling hands, she slowly opened the wardrobe door. Empty. Only clothes were hanging. But upon looking at the bottom of the wardrobe, she saw water dripping, forming a small puddle. Where did the water come from? The roof wasn't leaking, and the wardrobe was far from the window. The water was cold, and smelled of decay. Sinta hastily closed the wardrobe and turned on all the lights. She did not sleep again that night. In the following days, Sinta began to notice strange things. The dormitory hallway always felt damp, even in the scorching heat of the day. Sometimes she saw a shadow of someone at the end of the corridor, but when she walked closer, the shadow vanished. One night, she heard the knocking again, but this time accompanied by a faint voice from behind the wall. "Please, open the door." Sinta swallowed hard. Her room wall was adjacent to room 09, the room she was forbidden to open. A mix of curiosity and fear overwhelmed her. She finally decided to explore the hallway. The corridor, which should have only been about 10 meters long, felt longer with every step she took. The walls were wet, the air as cold as if from the bottom of a well. When she reached room 09, the hallway lamp flickered. The room's door was slightly ajar. From inside emanated a foul stench mixed with the sharp fragrance of jasmine. Sinta stared at the gap in the door, and her eyes caught the shadow of a woman sitting on the floor, her long hair covering her face, and in her hand she clutched something. A red umbrella dripping with blood. The next morning, Sinta went to the dorm guard to ask about the room. The old man sighed deeply. Room 09 used to belong to a student named Raras. She died there, by suicide. They said it was because her lover left her. But her body was never found, only a red umbrella, full of blood. Since then, the room had been locked and left vacant. But some students who dared to enter, never came out sane. Sinta was silent. A red umbrella. She vividly remembered that object in the hand of the figure behind the door. Was Raras's spirit trying to communicate with her? That night, she heard the same faint voice again, but this time clearer. "Sinta, give me back my umbrella." Her heart seemed to stop. She stared toward the wardrobe, and the worn-out umbrella she had brought when she first arrived had now turned red, dripping blood onto the floor. In a panic, Sinta ran into the hallway. But the hallway was now changed, no longer straight, but curved and looping, as if it had no end. From behind, the sound of slow footsteps was heard, getting closer, followed by a whisper echoing on the walls. "You have taken what is mine." Sinta turned. The long-haired woman stood not far behind her. Her eyes were empty, her lips blue, and blood flowed from her palm that held the umbrella. "You brought me back to life," she whispered. Sinta screamed and ran, but the more she ran, the more the hallway led her to the door of room 09. The door was now wide open. From within, the sound of weeping echoed. The walls were covered with scribbles of the name, Raras, and bloody handprints. Sinta stared inside, and then something pulled her hard. The hallway spun. The lights went out. The sound of rain stopped. A week later, the dorm guard found room 07 empty. Sinta's belongings were still there, but there was no trace of her. Only a red umbrella stood in front of room 09, with the name, Sinta, written on the floor, as if scratched with fingernails. Since then, other students passing the old hallway often hear two female voices speaking faintly from inside the room. I'm not alone anymore. And every time the rain pours down heavily at night, that hallway is never truly silent.